What's up, y'all? It's your boy Denim Jeans back at it again with another video. And today, we're going to be doing our Western Conference standing predictions. Yesterday, we did the East, so if you guys want to go check that out, the link to that video will be down in the description below. But we're just going to hop right into it, all right? At number 15, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were a surprising team last year. They were pretty good, with Chris Paul playing at all-star level. They had good supporting pieces in Danilo Gallinari, a decent center in Steven Adams, and a young future all-star, in my opinion, in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But they lost virtually all of that. Gallinari went to the Hawks. CP3 got traded for, I forgot who he got traded for, but I know he got traded away to the Suns. And they also lost Steven Adams. I believe he's now on the Pelicans. So their best player that they have left from last year is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then the second best player they have is like an aging Al Horford. They're going to be bad. This is the true beginning of their rebuild. They're gathering a lot of assets, a lot of first-round picks. And I see them tanking this year, getting a good first-round pick, and starting their rebuild with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as their star. At number 14, surprisingly, I have the Spurs. I think they're gonna be awful this year. DeMar DeRozan's been pretty good the past couple of years. He's been one of the more underrated players in the league, but Marcus Aldridge is aging, and I don't think that the young talent they have around them is enough for them to be good anytime soon. I think they need to ship out DeRozan, get what they can for him, ship out Aldridge if they can, or just ride out his contract, either way. But start looking towards their young assets like DeJounte Murray. Their draft pick this year, it's slipping my mind. I can't think of who it is. But I think they should start trying to not necessarily tank, but be okay with losing for once after winning for so many years. Number 13, I have the Sacramento Kings. They've been awful for a very long time. A couple years ago, they were the 9th seed, almost made the playoffs, but just missed out. Last year, they were a little bit worse, not really that close, not really in the playoff race. They have a good young star in De'Aaron Fox, and that's kind of it. They lost Bogdan Bogdanovic. He's on the Hawks now. Marvin Bagley, he has the potential to be really good, but he can never stay on the court. He's always hurt. And I assume, based off the past, that he's probably going to be hurt again. Harrison Barnes is okay. Richaun Holmes was surprisingly good for them last year. I hope to see him develop and become like a cornerstone of what they do like in the near future, next 2-3 years. But I think they're going to be pretty horrible this year, to be perfectly honest. Again. At number 12, I have the Timberwolves. Now, that might be surprising because they have a top 3 center in the league, and Karl-Anthony Towns, top 3, meaning that he's number 3 because Jokic and Embiid are better. They brought in D'Angelo Russell, so that'd be a nice like little 1-2 punch, but I don't know if their defense will be able to hold up because D'Lo's not good at defense, Cat's not good at defense. No one on the team is really good at defense. Juancho Hernangomez, I think, is going to be the starting power forward. He's not good at defense. They don't have a lot going on besides the offensive firepower that they have in Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. If you can't guard anybody, I don't see how you can be like any good, to be perfectly honest. I think I see them being one of the worst teams in the West this year. Number 11, after almost making the playoffs last year, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they take a step back. I think last year I know that last year they exceeded expectations by a lot. John Morant, Rookie of the Year, he's only going to get better. Jaren Jackson Jr. is only going to get better. Valanciunas is going to be solid. I think he's probably reached his peak. He's probably as good as he's ever going to be, but that's still really damn good. I just think that the other teams in the West are that much better. Now, at number 10, I have the Pelicans. And this could easily be flip-flop between the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. But I do think the Pelicans will be better, especially if Zion stays healthy. If he can stay healthy, play 28 to 30 minutes a game for like 65, 70 of the games this year. Actually, it's a 72-game season, so maybe like 55 to 60 of the games this year. I think they have a chance to make the play-in tournament this year and be the number 10 seed. Brandon Ingram was all-star last year. They did lose Drew Holiday, which hurts. But they brought in Eric Bledsoe, who's an okay replacement. I'd much rather have Drew Holiday just because of how much more versatile he is on the offensive end of the floor. But I think they'll be an okay team. I think that they'll be better, but it's all really going to depend on how healthy Zion Williamson is. And number 9, I have the Phoenix Suns. I have them just outside of like what would normally be the top 8 playoff teams. It's now a little different because 7 through 10 have a play-in tournament, but I have the Suns at number 9. They brought in Chris Paul, who was phenomenal last year for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Brought them to the playoffs, almost got them to the second round, but no one even expected him to sniff the playoffs. And they brought in CP3. DeAndre Ayton's going to be a year better. Devin Booker's already star level, not a superstar, but he's a star, a perennial all-star in the future. And I'm excited for them. I think that they're going to be a really fun team to watch, and that the pick and roll between like Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton is it's gonna be so much fun to watch, man. I can't wait. I think the Suns are actually gonna start to be not like really good, but like in the playoff hunt for the entire year, always sniffing around like the 8, 9, 10 realm. But then at number 8, I have the Trailblazers. I think Damian Lillard is the second best point guard in basketball right now, behind Steph Curry and just in front of Luka Doncic. And when you have someone that is that good, I don't see them missing the playoffs. I don't. Got CJ McCollum. You got a healthy Nurkic back, where Whiteside was playing for them last year, and then I have Nurkic, who is, in my opinion, way better than Hassan Whiteside. And then you have Gary Trent, who broke out a little bit in the bubble last year. You got Nas Little. You got a nice squad around this team. I'm so excited for the West because it's gonna be so close. Like 8, 9, and 10, those could all flip flop easily. And also with number 7 with Houston Rockets. They traded Russell Westbrook for John Wall. I do think Russell Westbrook is way better than John Wall, especially like right now, because we know Russell Westbrook's healthy and what he can bring to the table. We don't necessarily know what John Wall is going to be able to do. He's looked okay in the preseason. He's looked all right. He's looked pretty healthy. But I do think he's going to have like lose a step, and he's definitely going to be rusty for like at least the first part of the season. So we'll have to see how his Achilles holds up and whether or not he can stay uninjured. But if they do, or if he does, and you have a top 6, top 5 player in basketball in James Harden, I don't see them missing the playoffs either. Especially with the new addition of Robert Covington. Pretty sure he's on the Houston Rockets. I always mix him up between the Rockets and the Trailblazers. But when you have a top 5 player in basketball, you don't miss the playoffs. You just don't. And number 6, maybe somewhat surprisingly, I have the Mavericks. Luka Doncic is I won't say he's my MVP vote, but he's an MVP level player. And every time you have an MVP player, anytime you have an MVP level player on your team, you have a chance to be something special. As long as Porzingis stays healthy and plays like he did similar to his New York Knicks days, 6 seed to be easily attainable. I think to be better than the Rockets, because I think that Luka is way better than John Wall, and like the 1 and 2, the duo that they have on the Mavs is way better than the duo that they have on the Rockets. So I think they got to get a couple more wins out of that. Number 5, I have the Golden State Warriors. Stephen Curry for MVP. Book it. Mark it. He's going to come out with a vengeance. He's going to come out and remind y'all why he was a 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimous MVP. Watch out for this man. Yes, they don't have Klay Thompson, but I do think Draymond Green's going to play better this year now that he has his boy Steph Curry back. And remember, they brought in Kelly Oubre, who's a solid replacement for Klay Thompson. He doesn't provide the same amount of defense and obviously not the same level of shooting, but he's a really good role player. And so is Wiggins. Everybody hates on Wiggins. I think he's a quality basketball player. And I think he's gonna help them win some games. And then we'll just have to see how James Wiseman turns out. I can see them being a little, but they have been good with like mediocre centers in the past. So even if James Wiseman doesn't pan out to be worthy of a number 2 pick, they won a finals with like Andrew Bogut, Zaza Pachulia. I think they'll be all right. Number 4, I have the Utah Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, All-Star. Rudy Gobert, the best defensive center in the league. You can argue between him, Joel, and Bam, but I do think he's the best because he does have the 2 defensive players of the year. I think Donovan Mitchell becomes a superstar this year and helps lead this team to more wins than obviously the other teams like below them. But I do think that Donovan Mitchell is going to break out as a superstar this year, and that the pieces that he has around him, like Joe Ingles, Bogdanovich, Mike Conley, are better than the supporting pieces that like the Warriors, the Mavs, the Rockets have. Number 3, I have the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, superstar. Paul George, I think he's a really good regular season player, and then in the playoffs he's not as great. But with that, like, they're going to be one of the 3 best teams in basketball. That's just how it's going to be. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Paul George. You're going to be one of the best 3 teams in the league. It's just how it is. Number 2, I have the Nuggets. Best center in the league in Jokic. And a budding superstar. No, I won't go that far. And a star in Jamal Murray. I'm really excited to see what Michael Porter Jr. can do this year. See like how he can develop and help this team win games. But if he turns out to be as good as he can be and reaches his full potential, 2 seed easy. They damn near gonna compete to win the championship. If Michael Porter Jr., I think he's the X factor. If he has like an okay year, a down year, they're not gonna be like top 2, top 3. But if he can come out and reach the full potential of what he is expected to reach, 2 seed easy. And number 1, Lakers. Best player in basketball, LeBron James. Another like top 7 player in Anthony Davis. Second best power forward in the league behind 2 times MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're going to be the best team in the West, assuming health. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.